Really, really interesting. And I really take the point about, we know we've got a whole load of problems. We've got a whole load of potential solutions that the cooperative movement can offer. I know one of the things that Cooperatives UK has done in the dim and distant was do things like franchising models, replicable models, support for scaling up, and so on. And I wonder whether there's a role there, whether that is something you're looking at, because it seems to me that we have, on the one hand, we have people in communities who want to make things happen but have limited energy and knowledge and go to agencies for support which also have limited knowledge and are trying, there is, and people, it all falls apart with people trying to set things up from scratch, doesn't it? Whereas actually there are loads of, if you're talking about a Friends of Gardening model, gardening, growing flowers in the local park, well, we've got three of them in our town. And it would be very easy for some other people to set up. With the Working Man's Club was a model that then became understood and took off. I wonder whether, this retrofit co-op and so on is something that could just be, you've got one that works, fine, replicate that, do it somewhere else.
Yeah. Obviously, one of the things we tend to talk about to government is how good co-ops are at replicating. Partly because they can provide these off the shelf models that just are easy to adapt and run with. Partly also because under Principle Six, co-ops want to cooperate together. They don't see someone else doing their same business 10 miles down the road as a threat. They see it as wonderful. That community's doing it too. Isn't that great? So, Unicorn in Manchester, which is a worker co-op grocery store, has supported Village Greens, a few miles up in Prestwich to sort of replicate and create a multi-stakeholder community version of Unicorn. Now, the retrofit one we talked about, so Carbon Co-op, Loco Homes, who I mentioned in Glasgow, have just copied their model and are running it in Glasgow. So yes, these models exist. Now, there was that point about, that support for it, and people go to look for starting some kind of nice, friendly business. And when they go to, they look for the support from the local council for how they set up a business, or they look for that initial support. No one says to them, have you heard of a co-op? Someone goes, yeah, I want to do things a bit differently. And they basically are the Rochdale pioneers again, and they're just trying to reinvent the wheel. But they have no idea that the thing they've been talked about has been successfully trading all across the world now for 180 years. They have no idea, but they're not signposts to that. So there's an education thing, but there is. It should be now. We're not saying that business advisors and business development, not every business development in government is going to be an expert in doing co-op development. Of course not. But they do need to have an awareness so that they can signpost the people who are interested in that, or to have those early conversations, and then signpost them to cooperative development practitioners who can connect them up. Now, Co-ops UK, we can connect people with co-op development practitioners if people come to us. We provide the model rules. We can take people through the registration process with the FCA. And indeed, through our business support for co-ops program, we can absolutely provide that peer-to-peer support for co-ops to learn from another co-op that's doing a similar thing in another community. And that was how Loco Homes learned about Carbon Co-op and copied our model, because we connected them up with them. The two work together and are running with that model. That's how Prestwich learned from Unicorn. They did it for our business support for co-ops program. They got peer-to-peer support from Unicorn. They created their model there. So it's absolutely doable. And yeah,
Do we have a quality standard for cooperative business support
uh,
agencies, support practitioners?
so yeah, we provide training. We provide training for people to be co-op development practitioners. There is talk about co-op development practitioners creating a sort of consortium, because part of the problem is there just aren't enough of them on the ground, and they're too spread out. But if there was a consortium model for which, whether it's we contract them or whether the government then contracted them out to come in and do it for a business that needed it, that co-op development practitioner can respond to it. So what often happens is we get these opportunities for growth, and we're going to particularly see a lot of that in these combined authorities. There's a lot of Labour and co-op mayors have come in, and they want to do co-ops, and they come in, but there's no support on the ground to do it, and then all we end up getting is a bunch of CICs. And the opportunity's lost, and that's fine. There's some nice social businesses, and they go on for a bit, and then the guy who's running it gets bored, hands over. There's no succession plan, and the thing dies, and we're back to square one. But it was nice while it lasted. Co-ops provide that, so we all want to see more co-ops, but what we need is that those practitioners to be coordinated together. And that's something for them themselves to work out. But what we need from government is for business, advice supporters to have, you know, um, the knowledge and awareness, and just so that they can tell people, I think what you're thinking about is a co-op. Have you heard about a co-op? Here are the resources and here are the experts to go speak to do that, piece of work. Because, a co-op's not for everyone. But absolutely, there are people who are coming to create nice businesses where they don't just want to make money. They want to make money, but they also want to provide a nice opportunity for the kids. They want to save the planet while they're making a bit of money, and that's fine. These are all good. So, what can these entrepreneurs do? Well, they need to be connected in and go, have you heard of a co-op? They can be connecting with the right people, and then obviously us or other practitioners can run through whether a co-op is right for them. And maybe it isn't. Maybe they need a CIC because in truth, they want to own their business and they want to have ownership of it. That's fine. But sometimes the idea of having community participation and sharing it with their employees and sharing it with the community sounds great. It's exactly what they're dreaming of in their head. Well, hey, funny that we have an entire model full of businesses that do exactly that, but we need government to provide that missing piece that connects the entrepreneurs, the social entrepreneurs, for want of a better word, with the business model and the support to make those business models work. The missing ground is business advisors from the government.